A pleasure to meet all at last, and welcome back to my channel once again. And also, I do welcome you to Vlog-A-Thon 5.0, because what I got to talk about for this segment of all 82 pieces that I plan on putting together within an 8-day long period, specifically will entail about various things that I've been collecting. Nerf blasters, Hot Wheels, they're pretty much there, all over the place. Every single day, you're probably going to be seeing content like this happen all the time. But let's just point out, there's been times where it's gotten a little out of hand, pretty much. More specifically, Hot Wheels and Nerf blasters have put several more dents in my financial life than you probably would have expected. It's not just with the many things that have happened in terms of the national economy, but regardless of what happens there, I don't entirely need to blame anything on that or anything on how jacked up the prices are worldwide, especially with what's going on thousands of miles to the east from us. I mean, we're really having to start crunching numbers here because there really is just so much trouble going on over there in that part of the world that I just can't really explain it. But no matter what happens, I'm more than sure that someday we will find a way out of this tunnel. There will be a light at the very end, and there definitely will be a gradual decrease in various things relating to prices, to inflations, probably anything else that you can think of when it comes to economic systems. But maybe the best thing I would have to say about all of this is that it really has been helping in terms of keeping my financial stability in check. Because if prices are so jacked up that I must keep very, very cautious levels of awareness up and about, have some common sense when purchasing, and also have myself probably on edge for long periods of time. There's lots of times where there could be a moment where I might end up living paycheck to paycheck, and it definitely can't spell anything good on that part. But maybe another thing I'd have to imply on this whole thing is that Nerf blasters and Hot Wheels are in fact getting pricey. Not just for ownership of various things, but also in terms of the rarity. 3 Super Soakers alone that I went ahead and bought on eBay a little while ago cost me a total of $64. At average, that would be a little over $21 a piece. Even for really small ones, which seems kind of outrageous if you ask me. But then again, considering the fact that I'm basically shopping for older versions of Super Soakers or older Nerf blasters or older Hot Wheels or older anything, it's probably no wonder why the value on some of them are a lot higher than you would have expected. After all, as time passes, the value might decrease or possibly even increase depending on what you do with it. And of course, we probably all know by now exactly the biggest purchase that I have in fact made. If you can take a look over here, that right there is my Nissan Juke Hybrid. It's not only a huge piece of machinery, a definite step up from what I last had, which was a 2001 Grand Cherokee, but the thing is that it's jam-packed with anything I could ever possibly want. Hybrid fuel systems, which is of course basic fossil fuels like gasoline and electricity, sport seats, a huge European sound system, and tons of other great stuff. Innovations amongst innovations. A 13-year time gap between both vehicles that I have owned so far. But maybe it's just not all that. What I will say about that in particular is that it only cost me 13 grand just to own. And I had to go all the way to Oshkosh, about 80 miles away from Menominee Falls, just to buy it. Quite a drive if you ask me. But getting myself the groove and getting myself comfortable with being able to drive this thing around all day, every day, sure has allowed me to realize that such big investments, including furniture, vehicles, housing, they sure are going to be very important to keep tabs on at all costs. Some people might argue about it, but after all, if it really is true that such financial difficulties are present these days, then we do need to keep tabs on this stuff as much as possible. Tabs on the purchases, tabs on the savings, tabs on credit fraud, which I've had to deal with at least twice this year. And on top of all that, anything that could happen in terms of financial instability could potentially happen even at a surprise. When you least expect it, it just comes and slaps you in the face. Well, I suppose with that in mind, that probably just concludes this piece. But maybe someday we can look back on what the good old days were like. Actually, you know what? I'm going to talk about that next time on the Vlog-A-Thon 5.0. Until then, see ya.